I think I pressed the button. Yeah, it says pause recording or stop recording, so it must be recording. I mean, this is my detail task list again, just to, I get lost sometimes in what I'm supposed to be doing. And, you know, I had spent time on the GPS getting correction data into it. Recently, you know, I've been spending time on my outdoor Wi-Fi, getting that organized. So I'm not at a software layer standpoint at the moment. I'm still putzing around with physical stuff. I've also got my electronics box, which is the Harbor Freight, whatever it is, about 12 by 12 box that I've been trying to get all my electronics into. So those are the kinds of things that I'm futzing with at the moment. Once I get the electronics box organized and outdoor Wi-Fi, I mean, I'm ready to go back to testing, which will then be, hey, I want to give you two GPS waypoints and drive an AB line. Right, so we could and even if I have to buy chains for the thing, I'm going to do it in the snow if I have to. So I'm not going to necessarily let I mean, unless the snow is 2 feet thick, I'd like to still keep doing that. And as well, I mean, the offer is open if anybody wants to come to Texas. We were just down there for the holidays, but I'll probably go back in a couple of months. So end of February, sometime in March, if anybody wants to make a pilgrimage, we can do that as well. While I was in Texas, just FYI, I was organizing my, trying to get to Fusion. I was trying, my welder guy, you know, made a bracket for my steering motor, and I spent time trying to replicate the exact dimensions of that so that I can now, you know, 3D print that and take it to another welder guy, this time likely in Texas, to say, hey, make me one of these. I'm just going to show you what that design looks like here real quick. Just so you know, don't kick me out, because I have been working, and I want to show you that I've been working, Matt. Wow, is this taking a long time to load? More power, need more power. Usually doesn't take that long to load. Not sure what was going on. Also, I can show you an angle iron. So, you know, effectively, that's the, if let's see.
We're still seeing your spreadsheet screen if you're trying to display something else.
Oh, wonder why it's doing that. Maybe I didn't share the desktop. Stop share. Share. How about now? What are you seeing?
Yep.
See a logging tractor.
Yeah, okay, cool. How do I do that? So anyway, I 3D modeled, you know, and got the dimensions of that screw and the dimensions of this, so that, you know, I can print that and take it to a guy to have it made and say, you know, effectively make this. And I don't have to take the whole tractor there and say make it fit, because there's a pain in the backside to move the whole tractor. And so getting those dimensions down and to literally 0.5 millimeter level of precision was how I spent my Christmas holiday. So inch by inch, but frustratingly slow.
So that's the same mount now that you can just get that bracket made and then mount the motor on your other lawn tractor?
It is. And I think the manufacturing process is not, you know, the Cub Cadet manufacturing process leaves a few millimeters of difference between models. It is basically an 11 3/4 inch wide frame and a 97 millimeter bolt separation for those 4 bolts. But there was some wiggle room in that. And then the same thing for the transmission control. I need to model the bracket to hold the super servo. And then one thing, while I was taking apart the second, trying to find a picture of the Cub Cadet here quickly. While I was taking apart the second tractor, I decided we should try to reuse, or at least I'm going to try to reuse the back half of the motor. Let me just go back and share again. Share. So in the first one, you know, I just dumped all this body material, and then I ended up having to have the guy make, you know, special brackets to hold the deck lever and the engaging switch or lever for the mower deck, and then also underneath that seat is a battery holder. And I'm like, ooh, second time around, I think I'm going to try to cut. You know, how do I mark this? Where's the annotate? There we go. Stamp, format, eraser, text, mouse, draw. I cut this piece somewhere in here and remount that so that I still have the controls for that and still have the battery box. And then, I don't know, maybe that'll work, maybe not, but it's at least a thought that I had, as opposed to just throwing away this whole plate. I think there's some reuse that we can do there.
That's a good thought.
Because there's four bolts that go to the frame, 2 right under that seat and 2 right here. So I think it would be plenty firm enough to hold onto that. So that was a discovery as well.
You could put like your control box where the seat is.
Yeah, TBD, but that would be one option. The notion about putting it underneath this would, again, just protect it from the weather a little bit, but
true.
Yeah, that would work too. But I would definitely like to get all the electronics in one, you know, Pelican style box, so it's effectively transportable to different machines. That'd be where I'm at. Oh, and I have a new, let's see, my installation or deinstallation. How do I turn that off? So I was writing down oh, that's still there. That's interesting. Are you seeing
Yeah.
a series of notes?
Yep. The series of notes, but that line is still there.
Yeah. Well, how do you get rid of that?
Just leave it.
Clear all drawings. Yeah. So I was, can I make that text bigger? Yeah, I guess I can. Damn. Frustrating. Hate computers sometimes. So I was trying to be disciplined in taking it apart, and what I was smiling at is because one of my steps is get out the Sawzall. I thought you would appreciate that, so that's why I digressed and wanted to share that. Cut that daggone thing off there. Makes it so much easier to get that that sheet metal that the seat is on. So that was my only the brake pedal and the transmission control were the only Sawzall related actions that I took. But it was fun. I'm like, ooh, grind through that.
That looks good.
So that'll make it easier for vehicle number 3, whenever that is.
That's right.
Jeff, he says with an aspiration of a positive response. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Slow progress, but still at the batter's plate. Oh, the other thing I'll just share with you is I got one of those Mophie router, LTE routers. I mean, that worked. I mean, that's worked really well so far. So that's definitely a nice solution for getting Wi-Fi in the field. I was just working on the external antennas and whatnot, but and then I found Walmart, of all places, sells SIM cards for, I think they've branded it Straight Talk, and effectively you pay a one-time fee for the year and you can get 25 gigabytes of per month of upload of, or download, whatever data volume. And so that works out to about $40 a month, I think. No, $60 a month. But that's another, hopefully lower cost version of LTE service than the Verizon Jetpack. So a few different things. And then the last thing I'll just share is, let's see if I can do this without breaking something. That is a series of 18650 lithium-ion batteries that figuring out in the field power is, another thing yet to learn, and mucking around with lithium-ion batteries has been another pastime in the last few weeks.
That's to charge your base stations radio.
It would be, yeah. So trying to figure out how many batteries that takes, and just one more thing. For testing, I'm just going to run an extension cord out into the yard, but ultimately we'll need some sort of portable battery power.
And then your solar panels will charge those batteries.
That's the idea. Okay, I'm going to stop blathering on.
Back to your comments about the Wi-Fi router. I've been thinking about just taking a. Is somebody getting an echo, or is that just me hearing that?
There's a
No
little bit
echo.
of an echo.
No, it went away. I was thinking about just taking a Wi-Fi router outside. You just run my Ethernet cable out and turn it on and see what kind of range I can get by doing that. You know, without getting anything fancy. Just take what I got, put it outside. And if it weren't snowing out, I could go put it on the roof. But for now, I can just stick it in the front yard because I've never actually, seen what kind of range you can get out of something like that. So that's one more thing to put on the list.
Yeah, I think in relatively 500 feet is pretty easy. I mean, and if it's certainly in Texas, I think I could have gotten 800 feet maybe for Wi-Fi coverage, unobstructed. It depends on how many buildings and trees and all that kind of stuff. But you can do pretty well with, this straight up interior grade routers has been my experience.
You can get around 100 feet with your cell phone Wi-Fi hotspot.
Yeah. Without a special antenna on your Pi, on your Raspberry?
Yeah, no external antenna. Small testing or small driving, short distance, small area.
And at the AgBot Challenge, is that what you used? Did you rely on that?
Yeah, so.
Anything else going on in your world, Jeff?
I was telling Matt that I was thinking about doing making some videos that I'll probably put it out on YouTube. So I was going to start with my mini tractor and just give a introduction and say, here it is, and here's why I built it, and here's the different pieces, and then people have asked about how did you do the steering or how did you do something else. I could have like sub videos saying, here's how I did the steering 5 or 6 times, and now this is the way it is now, and things like that. So that's something I've been playing with, trying to figure out how to hook up a camera and a microphone to a laptop and be able to switch video back and forth. I think I posted, what did I just had it up here. The date was December 28th in the random channel. I was trying to, how do I copy this link? There we go, copy link address. Come over to chat. And so there's a actual link to that post that I made, and it went through. I pointed out that the one guy's video, I kind of liked the way his looked. He's kind of tedious watching him, and he's always going on and on about his iced coffee. But if you can get past that, he was talking. He's got some nice looking videos, and then he mentioned this open broadcaster software. So I got a copy of that. And then Walter One says he's using that to make videos. I looked at his videos, and but it simply automates the whole process of switching from one camera to another, and you can put a split screen, and you can put show videos or whatever, and you just click buttons to go from one type of scene to the other. So I'm going to play with that and see if I can see how far I get with that.
So I clicked the link in the chat.
It'll probably take you to another Slack window. Open Slack again. Or does it not work?
The link comes up to your workspace directory. So I'm not, were you trying to get me to YouTube or with that link?
No, it's a post that I put on Slack channel. So if you just go to Slack and look under random and go to December 28th.
On my way.
So that link didn't work. Here, I'll click it and see what it does.
It brings up your workspace directory.
It says opening link in Slack. Well, I'll see if I can delete that link then, since, yeah, I don't know why I did that. How do you, so what did delete it? Something out of the chat? Doesn't look like it. So far, it's just been talking about audio not working, so we could just delete all the chat and we won't have to worry about it, I guess.
Yeah, it won't get posted.
Okay.
December 28th. Is anybody making fancy videos?
So if you click on that one for the, it says, actually, my link, not the picture, it says starting here, if you watch it for a couple minutes, he goes through and you can see the various things that he does. And it just simply, it's a simple way to, move stuff around, and he's gone far enough to do a green screen, so in the back he can project stuff behind him, and
That's pretty fancy.
so you can do interesting things. And then the other two videos down there, one of them's talking about how do you do green screen. Basically, just put a piece of green cloth behind you, and you got to light it properly. And then when you go to do in the software, you just say, click on that and say, make that transparent, and that takes care of that. And then the third video was simply a guy going through, says, how do you do a professional looking video? And he's got all kinds of, he shows you how to do the different techniques, how do you put the text at the bottom and split screen and all this kind of stuff. So I was going to play with that and see if I can make that work.
Like a production studio.
And as Matt was saying, everybody's into YouTube production these days. So I guess it's about time I get into it.
You're going to make us increase our quality of videos, upscaling the joint here.
We'll have to try. So I'm going to come up with some kind of a Ross agriculture logo to put down there at the bottom, and then I probably put the name of the video across the bottom. And anyway, if you get some time, you can go watch those videos there that I posted and see what's possible. So last night I got on eBay and ordered another camera, so I'd have a second camera. And I got up this morning with a message saying, "Oh, I can't get my accounts to work. Maybe you can go to my bank and get your money back." Well, unfortunately, there was another one that says, "Here's eBay. Somebody just refunded your money," so that wasn't that big a deal. So this morning I ordered yet another camera. So we'll see.
What kind of camera did you order, Jeff?
Oh, it was a Logitech C920. Which is the one that's like the one I'm using right now. The one I'm using right now belongs at work, and I'd ordered another one, so I've got another one at home. But then I was thinking I need another one so I can have one pointed at me and one pointed at whatever I'm talking about, because the camera built in the laptop just will not work. It's for some reason it's like a 1 second delay or something behind it. When I plug in this external camera, it seems to work. I finally played with it enough to get it to work reasonably, I think. So that was one more thing I've been thinking about doing is, playing with that stuff and see if we can get that to work. So we'll see how that turns out.
More stuff to learn.
I can't think of anything else I've actually been working on. I've been cleaning stuff out and
About Matt, what's going on in your world?
I've been playing around with sensors. So I've got the ESP32 camera. The idea there is to be able to take pictures and then send those pictures up to Ross. And then I have this other sensor here. This one will do like temperature, humidity, pressure. It's kind of like a greenhouse, like you put this in your greenhouse. So how do we collect this data, and then how do we move the data through Ross or something up to your farm OS to record like greenhouse or animal pictures? I tried putting Ross on the Raspberry Pi Zero. So the other thing is like what type of device I've been playing around with. This is the Teensy, this is Raspberry Pi Zero, and this is that ESP. And just barely started working. Instead of putting Ross on this Raspberry Pi Zero, just go ahead and put MQTT, and then you can upload it. I mean, we may be able to upload it from there. So maybe the best way is to use the MQTT and then use the MQTT bridge to Ross, and we can get data back and forth. If you're going to have IoT sensors out, in the field, or cameras around your water trough, or thermal cameras. How do we start to aggregate that data and pull it and store it?
Cool.
But I was able to, on that tutorial I just posted the link, I was able to get that running. I'll get to the right place.
There was some code that just came up and now it's gone away.
Okay. So this is just a simple test using this MQTT client, and that's, I posted the link in the chat, and that tells you how to install it. The one thing that's different on the tutorial is it uses this broker address, and I couldn't get that to work, but this broker address does work. And so it's kind of a lot like ROS. Like, this is your callback function. You basically set up your client and then push data to this broker address, which is sort of like your ROS master. And you can run this locally if you want to. This one happens to be remote. And then the structure is really similar to topics in ROS. I'm not sure what they call it in MQT, if it's also a topic. And so this one, all this does is a little loop it publishes to this greenhouse north bench lights on. And then when you publish to it, it will get a message, and then this callback function will be called, and then it will print out. And so here's the results of that subscriber. So when you subscribe to this topic, when it gets published to, then it will print this out. So this is very similar structure to ROS. I'm just starting to play around with this. I'm not too familiar with it, but hopefully it's pretty lightweight and an easy way for us to use, like really low cost devices like these devices, or to integrate into IoT devices through ROS. So
Cool.
you'll notice that your water trough is down, and you can send your robot out to fill it up, or you can turn on a valve. How do we start?
Cool.
No. But compiling ROS on a Raspberry Pi Zero was very, I didn't get that totally working yet.
Just trying to save, what is it, from $15 to $30?
Yep.
Well,
Like, you're like, use a Raspberry Pi. It already works. We know it.
I mean, there would be benefit, obviously. I mean, both energy savings and space savings. I mean, there's definitely a reason to try to go small. But there was a question. I'm not on purpose mispronouncing the name. Is it Elias? Can he hear us? I was not. Did he get his technical thing worked out? Okay. I mean, there was a question here, and that Jeff responded, just to elaborate on it. As Jeff said, this, the collection of three of us started after we were trying to work on something together, or had a similar interest in working on, say, an Ackerman vehicle, Ackerman steering vehicle. And so we just decided to get together periodically, well, weekly, to sort of talk through things that might be specific to getting a lawn tractor going with ROS. So as Jeff said, it's meant to be a subgroup of the larger group. It would be fantastic if everybody was, trying to do the same thing, like make a lawn tractor work or something like a lawn tractor. And in Jeff's case, he's got another smaller Ackerman vehicle that he was ROSifying, if that's a verb. So yeah, so that's what this Friday session is meant to be all about.
Yeah, so the simulator is the the software. We're building the software to drive it or the lawn tractor around, and so that's part of the simulator. But you can use that for any tractor or any Ackerman vehicle.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. So I have one last question, and thank you for replying. Do you use the simulator, and how is it intended to be used?
Yeah, we use the simulator, and it's just intended to be a way to test and develop software and to practice. If you don't have a lawn tractor, you can still learn about ROS and how all the pieces go together using the simulator. Is that
Okay.
something? Is that something you're interested in?
Yes. I don't have the space nor the money to build a tractor. So I mean, if I develop some software, it would definitely be on the simulator. I already followed the tutorial and downloaded the, how is it called, Docker image. It worked. So yeah, I just launched the simulator and tried some things on Arvis, looked at the topics, but I haven't done anything interesting yet. I think the next step, at least for me, would be to look into how to add like a real life environment or something like that, like obstacles and.
Are you interested in building worlds or learning simulation, or what's your background?
So I'm studying robotics in general. I like mobile robotics more than some other fields, and yeah, I worked on a autonomous warehouse project last year, which I quite enjoyed. So I'm thinking about doing maybe the same thing or applying what I learned last year in this project.
Okay. That's awesome. Have you used Gazebo? Did you use Gazebo in your warehouse simulation?
We used another simulator called Moses, I think. It's Blender based.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple simulators to choose from. Obviously, Gazebo is paired well, and then there's VREP and WeBot is also another one.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, if you're interested in building worlds, Gazebo is kind of switching to Ignite. There's some changes in the new version of Gazebo 9. But love to have your help on the simulator and building the software. That would be awesome.
Okay, so that was kind of planned to go from Arvis to Gazebo to have a real like a real simulator and not just an Arvis limited simulator.
So Arvis is basically just allows you to see topics. It allows you to see topic data, but that topic data is generated inside of Gazebo, or that data can come from your real robot.
Mm-hmm.
So Gazebo is the physics engine, the simulator. That's different than the visualization. So if you want to see real, it just depends on what type of simulation that you want to do. How real life. So Unity is a game engine, or Unreal, and those provide more realistic simulation environments.
Okay, Okay, do you have a link or some documentation to what's being done about, like, around this project, around this part of the project?
Okay, I can look those up. So this project we've only used Stage and then a little bit of Gazebo, but I can send you some links to that if you're interested in learning more.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mhm.
I think I don't have any further questions for now. Thank you.
Wait, is it Ilias?
Yes,
Are
it's pronounced Ilias.
Ilias?
Yes, but I mean, yeah, it's usually pronounced in French, but I think that's the correct way to say it in English.
Okay. Do you have experience building models in Blender?
I've done some 3D modeling, but on Maya, not on Blender. But I can give it a try. I don't mind giving it a try.
Okay. One project the perception team is working on is being able to identify weeds versus crops, and so we have some beet models and some onion models, and we were looking at building something inside of a gazebo, like a dirt background with just a few plants, and then inside a gazebo there's a camera simulation, and so that data can be ported, output to ROS. So I can send you some information on what we've tried there. But I'm not an expert in Blender. I've been running into some problems with the meshes.
Okay, I still would love to have a look into it. But then you'd have to train your model on simulated data.
Yes, it's called synthetic data, but that's a practice in use today.
Okay, and you think that that should work on a real life data? It wouldn't underfit?
Yes, so you're going to have fitting problems for sure, but you can work through the software pipeline and do all of the deployment testing and building your models. And the data may get you 70% of the way there, and then the real data, that's just a guess. And you're going to need to augment it with real data to get the higher accuracy.
Okay.
But for learning and training and getting your software pipeline down, simulation is very handy.
Okay, I'm looking forward to see how this goes.
Okay. Does that sound like a fun project? The perception team would love it.
Gents, any more for any more? Matt?
Go robots.
Go robots. Jeff, anything else on your plate?
Not that I can think of right now.
Elias, I mean, please feel free to ask even what you might think is a simple question. You can private message certainly me. I suspect Matt or Jeff would also be happy to have questions as well. We've all been in the spot of, holy cow, what is this thing and how do I use it? And it can be frustratingly slow at times. So please feel free to reach out. Happy to help any way we can.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
And you can do it at whatever time zone too. I don't think Matt sleeps, so he's always awake. But me, I need some rest.
Are you all on the same time zone?
I'm Eastern. Matt, Pacific, and Jeff, Central or Mountain? What's Minneapolis?
Central.
Central.
So we're all within 3 hours of each other here.
Okay.
And I assume you're off by about 12 hours or so from us.
It's 7 p.m. right now where I am.
So you're on the you're in the east of France then. Are you in France?
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's French time. I'm in Paris.
Cool.
So. Mhm. Okay.
Okay, guys. Have a great weekend and see you on the Slack channel.
Thanks, Val.
Bye, guys.